Hey everyone, it's Mike Andes, and you're listening to the Business Bootcamp Podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about speed of execution. In my opinion, one of the most important things if you want to grow a business fast and make a lot of money. Before we get into today's show, a big thank you to today's sponsor, which is Gusto. If you haven't already, go to gusto.com/bootcamp for a free 90-day trial of their software where you can do direct deposits, all of your benefits, wages, all very visible for your employees from their app. Check it out today. Go to gusto.com/bootcamp. All right, so this is something that I've talked about a couple times in the past few live videos that I've made when Q&A have come up. And a lot of times it has to do with productivity and people asking me, how do you get so much done? And you have a whole bunch of different businesses and how do you do those? And how did you get ahead in school in terms of college and things like that? And really at the end of the day, it comes down to this, speed of execution and the speed of making decisions. Instead of deliberating over them, making sure they're perfect, trying to make sure everything is just right, and then making a course of action. Now, there's a book that I once read that it's called The 12-Week Year. And basically what the premise of that book is that over the course of 12 weeks, you can try to do what you would otherwise do in 12 months. And I used to actually write down every single week what I was trying to do and take what I would do in a month and try to consolidate it into a week. And I like that premise, and I don't do that necessarily anymore in terms of actually writing down every week what that one thing is I'm trying to do that would usually take a month. But the premise is true, and that is collapsing time. And how I like to think about it is this. If you have a 2-3 year goal, ask yourself the question, if I had a gun pointed at my head, what would I have to do if I was forced to get this done in 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is? And maybe you say, okay, I'm trying to build my business to $1 million business in 5 years. Okay, if your goal is speed and you're like, I want to grow as fast as I can, what would you have to do if tomorrow, there was a flip switch and you had to, your life depended on you building that thing to $1 million in the next 24 months, so 2 years instead of 5? What would the actions be? Now, this is not to say that you need to build the business in 24 months. It's not to say that you'd have to grow it that fast. But what it does, it starts to unlock creative solutions and ideas that would really accelerate the growth of your business. Because if I'm trying to grow a business over the course of 10 years, I'm going to not really need to do a whole lot of marketing. I can focus on word of mouth. I can not really care too much about hiring people that are really experienced. I don't have to worry about, cash and lots of things. I have a lot of different problems in the business that are masked just due to the fact that I have 10 years to get to my goal. I only have to grow $100,000 a year. That's not very difficult in most industries. That's not difficult. But if I could say, okay, if I take that same business, what would I have to do to do that in the next 2 years? You'd have to completely change your dynamic. You'd have to I'm going to have to do marketing to bring in more leads. I'm going to have to hire more people faster. And then when I'm doing things faster, things break. When you do things fast and there's a lot of motion, things break. So when you're hiring a lot of people, you'll get bad hires. When you are growing and expanding so quickly in your business, you're going to have you're going to have problems. And so the solution to this is, how do you do that? How do you take a business that would otherwise take 10 years to build? How do you do it in 2 or 3? You make decisions quickly. The reason most people can't collapse time and take an objective that takes most people 12 months and do it in 2 or 3, the reason they can't do that is because they think like most people. And that is the way most people think, is that when they have a big problem and they have a big decision, they deliberate it over way too much. They just think about it way too much. And in our businesses, we do this all the time. You have someone that you need to fire, but you think about it. You kind of, talk to them. You have meetings about it, but you just need to fire them. You just need to make the decision, go. Let's move on. Let's roll. Same thing with a marketing decision or hiring somebody or going into a new product or going into offering a new service or changing something in your website. Those are things that you got to ask yourself, is this so life-changing, business-changing, altering, going to completely change everything? Or is this just another step of the process? People get too overwhelmed with the littlest things should I do a price increase? Like, that should be like a 5-minute decision. Like, okay, do I need a price increase? Yes, I'm not making enough margin. Okay, great, fantastic, price increase, boom. Like, there does not need to be meetings and discussions and deliberation and testing and all of this. Like, we're small businesses. We do not have the time or the energy or the resources to have a bunch of spreadsheets and meetings over little decisions, like if we should hire and fire someone, if we should try out a certain advertising and marketing avenue. Like, you can go try it out, spend a couple $1,000 on this. Like, this is not rocket science. We're not trying to put someone on Mars. But in saying that, the reason Elon Musk is so smart and the reason he gets so much done and everyone wonders how he can run SpaceX and Tesla and the Neuralink and the Boring Company, why can he do that? He makes decisions quickly. He does not deliberate over things for eons of time. He just tries it, and guess what? He'll send a rocket up in the sky and it blows up multiple times. But guess what? He knows that iteration and making decisions is much more important than trying to make sure that the first rocket he sends up is perfect and everything is just right. And we as business owners get so wrapped up into our daily operations that we get wrapped up in making the decision perfect. And you don't need to make perfect decisions. You need to make decisions, period. You just need to make them. And I think the thing you want to think about is like baseball. If someone in baseball can hit a batting average of 300, 3 out of 10 times they can get a hit, that's incredible. Like, if they'll be in the Hall of Fame if they can do that their entire career. 3 out of 10 hits. 3 out of 10 times they come to the batter's box. If 3 out of 10 times they get a hit, they're amazing. And yet, the batters that have had the most home runs, they also have the most strikeouts. The reason is because they swing and they swing hard, and yeah, they're going to strike out sometimes. They're going to strike out a lot of times. They're going to strike out more than most people. They're going to have failures, quote unquote, in the business world. That's what we would call them. We have failures more than most people. But guess what? They swing hard. They swing for the fences every single time, and they don't stop swinging, knowing that they're going to strike out sometimes, but when they make connection, they're going to hit the ball out of the park. And by doing so, they are known in the history books, and we know their names. Whereas the guy who just hits singles and does it one, he only gets a few. I have 1,000 batting average, 1,000. But I only batted twice the entire season. No one knows about that person. No, he's not going to win any records. No one cares. But I got 1,000%. I have 1,000. My batting average is incredible. I got on base every single time. I might even hit home runs 100% of the time. But you only had 2 at-bats. You only swung the bat twice. All right? So I'd much more rather you focus on the number of at-bats you have and the number of swings that you take than the amount of hits that you have. Everyone gets so wrapped up in how many hits did I get? No. If you just triple the amount of swings you take, you're probably going to double at least double your hits. All right? So what I mean by that is make decisions, i.e. swing the bat. Instead of just standing there watching the pitches go by, just swing. Say yes in life. Say yes to opportunities. Say yes to jobs. Say yes to hiring more people. Take risk. Every single time you go to swing that bat, that's a risk that you might swing and miss. But guess what? If you just hold the bat on your shoulder, you're never going to hit the ball. You're never going to be able to get on base. You're never going to be able to score. And in business, if you never take a risk, if you never transfer weight and actually get off balance for a little bit and actually drive your inertia forward and actually take a risk that you might actually fail in front of other people and swing and miss, you're never going to get any at-bats. You're never going to never make connection with the ball and hit a home run. And those are the people we know. We're never going to remember Elon Musk for the multiple 4 or 5 rocket blast that went off and completely obliterated in the sky, and it was a failure. That was a swing and a miss. But we are going to remember him for bringing Tesla and revolutionizing the electric car industry. We're probably going to end up knowing him one day for taking us to Mars. These are things that we will remember him for, but we will not remember all the strikes. We will not remember all the swings and misses. And when it comes to your business, I assure you, your business will never be great if you continually are maniacal about every little decision on building the rocket. Every single pitch as it's coming. Okay, is this the right pitch? Is this the right pitch? Oh, you missed it. Is it the right pitch? Oh, maybe this one. Is it a curveball? Is it a soft? Is it a fastball? You missed again. Swing. Just go for it. Say yes to that new potential hire. Say yes to that opportunity. Say yes to that potentially new product or service that can completely change your business. And just go. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make failures. It might completely against your perfection type of mentality where everything's got to be just perfect. But you've got to make decisions fast. If you want to get ahead in business quickly, if you want to really succeed and take it to the next level in a manner and a speed at which most people cannot, if you want to do things in 10 years that would take most people 10 years, do it in 2 or 3 years. If you want to collapse time, you've got to get comfortable with making uncomfortable decisions very, very quickly, because you're known for how many at-bats you have, not for how many times you get on base. I don't want to be the guy who got 2 at-bats and hit home runs both times. I want to be the guy that only got 10% of my at-bats as home runs, but I had 1,000 at-bats and I made 100 home runs. That will be known in the history books, and that's who's going to be successful in business. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mike Andes. You've been listening to the Business Bootcamp Podcast. Until next time, be great, because nothing else pays.